Why is the Umkhonto Sizwe Party and the Economic Freedom Fighters, MKP and the EFF, why are they opposed to the recent gazetted proposal by the Minister of ICT, Solly Malatsi? Let's just go through their statements to understand that why these two parties are against this gazetted proposal to, by the way, essentially to amend the laws of the country in an attempt to accommodate and please Elon Musk and Donald Trump in terms of allowing the Starlink. So why are these two parties the most vocal ones opposed to this deal? Greetings, guys. Welcome to the platform. My name is Tebos Kwasana, and the name of the platform is The Agenda. Please help us grow the platform by subscribing, by joining to become a member. You can contribute 20 Rand per month, or can contribute through the super thanks, and also can help us grow the platform by sharing the videos to ensure that the videos they reach much wider audience. The importance of this is that the attempt is to build an alternative platform from the mainstream media, and a platform that talks about our own interest, a pro-black platform which is pro-pan-Africanism, which is about our own values as Africans, as opposed to what the mainstream media is shoving through our throats. But to us to be able to do that, we do need to pull together in terms of the resources and other things. So please do help us grow the platform, guys, to ensure that we've got a solid alternative voice. So I'm going to be reading the statements from two political parties. Then I'm going to talk about my own views and my own take on the matter. So I will start with the Umkhonto Sizwe Party, their statement. Statement on the Starlink sellout deal, a betrayal disguised as reform. The Umkhonto Sizwe Party, MKP, unequivocally rejects the newly gazetted Regulation 17.8 under the State Information Technology Agency SITA Act as a treacherous blueprint designed to dismantle state capacity, bypass transformative procurement frameworks, and fast-track backdoor deals with foreign tech oligarchs, chief among them Elon Musk's Starlink. This gazette is not mere bureaucracy. It is the execution phase of a covert pact brokered by Ramaphosa, Steenhuisen, and their neoliberal mentor, Donald Trump, to subvert the Information and Communication Technology ICT Charter and neutralize broad-based black economic empowerment imperatives in favor of unaccountable global capital. The Minister of Digital Communications and Technology, Solly Malatsi's claim of stakeholder consultation is a smoke and mirrors tactic. The MK party demands immediate and full public disclosure of these so-called stakeholders. Who was consulted? Were Black-owned SMMEs, community networks, and transformation champions even in the room? Or was this a closed-door session for foreign monopolies and their local proxies? Worse still, this regulation is the product of an arbitrary and unprincipled abuse of Section 23 of the CETA Act. 1. Section 23 is a facilitative clause, not a free pass to deregulate. It was designed to support and refine the role of CETA, not to strip it of power. The current regulation turns it into a loophole for outsourcing state IT procurement without public oversight, effectively turning departments into free agents for privatized tech deals. 2. The regulation contradicts the very purpose of CETA. CETA was established to create a coherent, secure, and transformation-driven ICT environment in government by allowing departments to bypass CETA based on loosely defined terms like faster, or cheaper. The regulation guards the agency's central mandate, betraying public trust and undermining national digital security. Number 3, the process was opaque, exclusionary, and procedurally flawed. There is no evidence of a proper regulatory impact assessment, no economic transformation review, and no disclosure of which stakeholders were consulted. This is a regulatory capture through and through, a corruption of process suit a pre-decided outcome. 4, it introduces a discretionary dual system ripe for abuse. This regulation creates two procurement tracks, one through SETA with transformation obligations and another through general prescripts with none. It institutionalizes chronism, inequality, and the weakening of Black economic empowerment. It sets a dangerous precedent for future state capture by foreign corporates. This is not just about Starlink. It opens the door to a deregulated, surveillance-prone digital future controlled by foreign actors. Once the state's ICT procurement is liberalized under false claims of cost efficiency, it cannot be easily reversed. The invocation of Section 23 to enact Regulation 17.8 is not only arbitrary and legally questionable, it is a strategic betrayal of the ICT Charter, the BEE Codes of Good Practice, and South Africa's digital sovereignty. The MKP calls for 1, the immediate suspension of Regulation 17.8, 2, full disclosure of the so-called stakeholders involved in this process, 3, a parliamentary review into the constitutionality of the regulation and its impact on transformation, 4, and the mass mobilization of progressive forces to resist the capture of South Africa's digital infrastructure by global tech oligarchs and their domestic enablers. That is the statement by the MKP. Then let's look at the EFF. What is the EFF's reaction to this? The EFF published a statement as well. The heading is EFF rejects Malatsi's anti-transformation ICT policy direction and capitulation to United States pressure. The Economic Freedom Fighters rejects outrightly the so-called policy direction issued by Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, Solly Malatsi, who gazetted a backdoor for foreign multinationals like Elon Musk's Starlink to bypass South Africa's broad-based Black economic empowerment laws under the guise of equity equivalent investment programs. The EFF expected this betrayal, and we have consistently warned that the government of national unity is facilitating the erosion of transformation in the interest of white capital and Western imperialism. This policy direction is unconstitutional and driven by external pressure, particularly from Elon Musk, a close ally of Donald Trump. This policy is tailor-made to allow Starlink access to operate in South Africa without meeting the mandatory 30% local ownership requirement as per the Electric Communication Act. Musk has arrogantly refused to comply with our sovereign laws, and the ANC-led government has chosen to kneel. This policy is clearly a capitulation in the face of an aggressive disinformation campaign of white genocide perpetuated by Musk. Through Starlink is now essentially being rewarded after a pure case of corporate terror that undermines our sovereignty and necessary transformation policies. The new policy direction from Minister Malatsi proposes allowing foreign multinationals to bypass the requirement for 30% black ownership by substituting it with alternate WEIPs, such as skills development or digital inclusion projects, changing ICASA's regulation to allow this EEIP as valid substitute for ownership, and encouraging investment under these relaxed terms to unlock broadband access and digital infrastructure. All policies clearly aimed at Starlink, which was advocated by Ramaphosa's handler Johan Rupert in Washington earlier this week in South Africa's United States bilateral meeting. The EFF rejects the false logic that transformation can be achieved without ownership. No amount of skills training or pilot programs can replace direct equity control and wealth redistribution. This is a cowardly surrender to US imperialism and a direct assault on black economic participation. Starlink and similar entities must comply with the same laws that apply to local companies. Of more concern is the clear national security threat posed by Starlink, as its owner has secured a manipulation of the laws of a country through the use of disinformation and by exerting his power and influence over the president of the United States, who aided his business interest through aggressive foreign policy against South Africa. To surrender our telecommunications capabilities and allow him access and control in a country he has accused of genocide is a threat to our nation. This does not even consider the effects on the local telecommunications industry upon the entrance of a foreign satellite company with no imperative to create jobs which will essentially operate remotely in the United States. As a result, the EFF will challenge this unconstitutional proposal in Parliament and explore all legal mechanisms to assert the supremacy of the Constitution and the rightful place of historically disadvantaged South Africans in the ICT sector. We will not allow our laws to be rewritten in Washington. That's how the two parties have reacted to this. I don't know what you guys make of this. Do you guys think that the two parties are overreacting, or do you think the Cyril Ramaphosa's government is selling out again by allowing Starlink, especially not Starlink as per se as a company, but because look who owns Starlink? It is Elon Musk, the man who has been propagating this disinformation against South Africa, but also they are allowing him to bypass the laws of the country, the BEE and stuff. And I think this must be understood that no one is saying services such as the ones that are provided by Starlink are not needed in South Africa. Of course, connectivity and all of that it's very important. You cannot over stress that point. But how we do certain things and creating certain precedents is a bit problematic. And of course, this was to expected. Ramaphosa combined with the DA, of course, you have to expect that they would always advance the interest of imperialism against our own interest as a black majority. You see, so tell me, guys, go to the comment section. Tell me what are your views? Do you agree with these two political parties, or do you not agree, or do you think it's a good thing that the laws are being banned to allow Starlink into the country? Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, guys, remember to subscribe, remember to like, share, and comment. And also remember to join to become a member, or can support us by providing the super thanks. Thank you very much, guys. Siyabonga. It was mentioned our member Sfiso Mbanjwa has become a member to the platform. Thank you very much. Please do follow through as well. Others follow Sfiso and become members to the platform. Thank you, guys. Africa is lethu.